Okay, y'all, so I'm here. I'm back with another review of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Alrighty, so we pick up where we left off before, which is all of the girls at the dinner. And Jen and Mary is going back and forth per usual. Jen is going on and 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 on. Now, in hindsight, yes, Mary did cut Jen off in the middle of her talking, and they even flashed back because Jen was like, I thought you said that we was all sorry. Jen said when they were arguing, like, well, you didn't even, like, let me talk, like, you cut me off and you put in your opinion. And Mary was like, oh, well, I didn't know we wasn't allowed to give our opinion. And then Bravo flashed back to the beginning of the dinner when she said, could we please just let everybody talk? So, Mary, it's partially your fault because you jumped in when you didn't need to. At the same time, Jen, shut up. Oh no, just shut up. Just shut up. So they keep going back and forth. Blah 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 blah. Okay, and then randomly Jen brings up, oh, well, you're the one who said that you wouldn't go into a 7-Eleven with black people hanging on the outside. Like, if there was black people on the like, hanging outside of a 7-Eleven, you would go to another 7-Eleven. Okay, this is how I feel about that. Number one, I feel like, Jen, why did you brought that up for what? You brought that up for what? I think you brought that up to probably make her look bad. Number two, I don't understand, though, how, because you're saying this amongst a whole bunch of white people. It's not like you're saying this statement amongst black people. No shade, but why would white people normally don't care about us, period? So why would they care that Mary don't want to be wouldn't go into a 7-Eleven with black people in front of it? They probably wouldn't either. And thirdly, in regards to that, I think the only reason Jen said that is because you was trying to embarrass her the same way how when you had brought up, I don't know, to Heather about Meredith getting a divorce. You said that because you wanted to take a dig and a jab at her. And please don't trust people like Jen who will take stuff that you tell her in confidence and tell everybody the minute that she get mad at you. Terrible. So eventually, like I said, they keep going back and forth, and eventually Mary is like, okay, well, but you could go. She pretty much dismissed her in I won't say the nicest way. They were both wrong, but Jen is always on 10, so whatever. Jen ends up leaving. So then what happened? So then we get to Heather, and we see Heather and her kids and stuff like that, and Heather pretty much says that although she is divorced, her husband still takes care of her and all of them, because he wanted to make sure that his kids had, like, their mom there 24/7. So Heather does not work. Heather, she's taken care of, and I'm not upset about that because that's what he should be doing, especially if he's a billionaire. You don't got nothing else to do but to pay for the mother of your kids and your kids to chill. However, no, Heather has the little beauty thing. I was gonna say, Heather, you need to make your own money though, but she does, so that's good for her. That's good for her. She's also talking about how she's waiting for, like, her daughter's boyfriend to come over, and how in the Mormon church you can't go to two dances with the same guy because then that means y'all gonna end up together, meaning y'all might probably end up having sex. That makes absolutely no sense. I could go to the spring. Okay, so I could go to homecoming with Danny. I could go to the spring formal with Johnny, and then I can go to prom with Mark. And I could have sex with every single last one of those people. Just saying, nothing about that church makes any sense to me, and I don't even like to judge people religion or anything, but nah, I don't get it. Okay, so then we go to Meredith. Okay, and Meredith's husband is back from, I believe, Ohio. And they get in the car and they're talking and stuff. Now, mind you, Meredith is the one who brings up about where they're gonna live, and so he says, well, I want you to move to Ohio because that's where I am. And she's like, no, I'm not about to do that. Now, let me say this: I understand Meredith's problem because, as for me personally, as a child, I moved a lot. I mean, I went to 4 schools in the second grade alone. I moved a lot. So I understand how picking up and moving all the time, and she, talked about how many times they moved and stuff like that. Also, shout out to Color Me Pink, aka Keisha, who caught on to the fact that, Meredith, you have a whole completely different face. Because them flashbacks that they showed of you versus your face now, I don't know what happened. But anyway, I can understand her being hesitant about moving. Who wants to keep picking up their kids? And well, she don't have to worry about the kids anymore because they grow. But who wants to keep picking up like their life and everything and their business and moving it? And I do think it's a little bit unfair for him to be like, oh well, all my employees is out here. She's like, so I don't have a business out here. I don't have people that I have to take care of. I do think it's a little selfish. But Meredith, you are the one who brought it up, so don't catch an attitude about it. Yeah. So then we have Mary and Jen. They're both separately telling their story. Mary is telling her side of the story to Old Man River, okay, and then we got Jen telling her story to her husband or whatever. Um, Again, like I said, she brings up the whole thing about the 7-Eleven to her husband or whatever, and what he said is facts. There's black people who are racist too. They're racist against their own kind. I don't think that Mary is racist against her own kind, but I do think that there is a little bit of shame that she has about being black. That's just my personal opinion. It's all been going out there that if you look at that, you can, I don't want to say for sure, but it kind of looks like Mary has bleached in the past before. And again, I don't know if that's because she's in Utah, she's around a whole bunch of white people, so her view on being black is a whole lot different than like mine's would or somebody else's. But again, I think Jen bringing that whole thing up was for absolutely nothing. And it's a little bit confusing to me when it comes to Jen because I don't know if she means, I don't really understand her feelings about blackness, because in one minute she tries to be like, oh well, my son is black and my husband is black and I wouldn't take kindly to you talking about them. But at the same time, when they was at that dinner, she said, oh well, people thought I was black, and Mary, you should know how that feels. Like, I don't, Jen's I don't want to say obsession, but her relationship to blackness, it confuses me because I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know if she likes it, if she doesn't. I have no idea. It's very confusing. But that whole conversation between Jen and her husband let me know that he's a really good coach, because I don't know. I don't know if it was what he was saying or how he was saying it. It was all very encouraging as far as I'm concerned. But as far as I'm concerned, both of y'all hoes is toxic. Both of y'all, okay? Well, this is going to be pretty short this week. Okay, then we have Whitney, and she goes to see her brother Will, and she talks about their family dynamic. You know how, I think Will is her father's child, and I don't know, it's a whole Brady Bunch family situation where the father had 2 kids, the mama had 2 kids, they came together, and then they had 2 kids together, and Whitney is one of those. And pretty much just how the family, how it's been, kind of split since he has had his addiction and stuff. But although Will is not his biological child, how she appreciates how he still, reaches out to him and cares and stuff like that. And she pretty much talking about how her dad's gonna go to sober living and how he's gonna pay for it. I know that's right, Whitney. You better stop paying for that shit. Stop paying for it. I get it, but stop paying for it. Then we go to Lisa's son's birthday. Out of everybody so far on this show, I do not like Lisa. Now, I did agree with some of the stuff that Lisa said at the table. Lisa said at the dinner, like, I think Mary is really upset because what Jen said about her being a grandpa, what, that's what she probably thinks that all of us think about her, and that's not true. But in all, I'm sorry, but I'm tired of us playing semantics. You are your grandfather. It doesn't matter that he's your step whatever grandfather. The point of the matter is that he was married to your damn grandma. Period. So I'm kind of tired of us playing the semantics about the whole situation. And let's be real, Mary, you get so offended about that because you know deep down, which we'll get to, that it's weird. It's weird. You know that. That's why you get so upset when everybody else brings it up. You get so upset because you're not comfortable in it, because you know that it's incorrect. But anyway, we go to Lisa's son's birthday party, and he's having a birthday party at the bowling alley, and she's talking about, which I guess it'll tie into next week. She's like, when Sundance comes around, I'm always so busy. So, I think the birthday is the one day of year. I'm like, yeah, you have all of my full attention, and I'll give you whatever it is that you want. This is that and the third. We're going to see how you act during Sundance. But then again, she's talking to her husband again about married or getting a divorce. I feel like Lisa hasn't really had much. I mean, granted, we ain't that far in, but I feel like Lisa don't really have much to talk about. Y'all could have talked about something else. I still don't really know much about her and her marriage and how her family dynamic really worked, other than the first episode when they showed us. But again, you talking to him about their marriage, and like I said last week, you need to be more concerned about your marriage and making sure that y'all two don't split up. And even the husband pretty much said, girl, you're spoiled. Like, you're spoiled as fuck. You want somebody to tell you that you're pretty every fucking day. Like, I don't like Lisa. I just don't. But anyway, then we got Whitney. She's driving her dad to rehab or whatever, and he's saying that he's glad he can go back, that he can get the help that he needs. I really hope that her dad gets the help that he needs. I really, really do. Let's go. Then we have Meredith. Okay, so Meredith's husband, I think he's been there a couple days, and Meredith's talking about how they've been arguing, so much. And Meredith pretty much told her husband, like, look, I love you and everything, but I think we need to be separated. Like, I really think you need to do your own thing, and I need to do my own. And then, he gets really emotional and starts crying. And it's like, we've been together 25 years. Like, I don't want to, like, be separated. Now, this is how I look at it. Number one, well, overall, I feel like Meredith should stop playing these reindeer ass games and just divorce her husband, because it's clear to me that you no longer want to be with him. This is what I don't understand. Now this is what Meredith said. Everybody, and it's been clear that prior to this, when he came back, right, you said that he had been gone for weeks at a time, and normally that's how it is. So to me, that means that y'all are normally separated. So for him to come back after being gone for a few weeks and you still say, oh, I don't want you here, what is the point of y'all being together? You don't want to be with this man. When that man was crying his heart out, I don't know if it's just towards him, but I've said it before, Meredith is such, like, she has such an emotional wall that it comes off cold at times. And in that scene, she came off really, really, really cold. And to me personally, in my humble opinion, I think Meredith has another man. I honestly think that Meredith has another man, and I'm not trying to say that she does, but personally, I'm just taking my history from being around, I'm a woman, talking to other women, seeing other relationships. I feel like the only way she would be so content, and I'm not saying for sure, but it comes off to me that, like, the only reason you would be so content and so willing to just be like, all right, just go your way and me go my way, is because you have another nigga. And I'm not saying that has to be the case, but it gives me very much, I have moved on with personally and with somebody else, so we can't do this anymore. Meredith, cut the fucking, I don't want to say umbilical cord, but cut the rope and just, like, go about your day and let him go about his. I feel like you're wasting everybody's time, because you really don't want to be with this man, and he wants to be with you, so stop wasting everybody's time, okay? Then we have Heather and Mary. They go and meet up for dinner, because, at the dinner, Mary called Heather toothpaste or whatever, which was absolutely no reason in my opinion. But Mary said that she thinks that Jen does not like her because, and she's another black girl with some money. And as much I don't agree with that, but Heather was like, well, what, like, in her confession, she was like, well, what does that mean? I think what she was trying to say, which I think she did say out her mouth, is like, Jen is not used to seeing other black people with a lot of money like her. She's used to being, like, the one standout, or the one quote-unquote minority amongst the rest, to be like, oh yeah, I got money too. And so now that I'm somebody else that comes in and I have money, she looks at me sideways. I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think it does have to do with what Mary said, which is she wants to be the top dog. Yes, we've said that from the very first episode. Jen wants to be the Nene. She wants to be the Kyle Richards. She wants to be the, what's another franchise I can think of? What was her name? Damn it, she was my favorite person in the Real Housewives of New York, and she's no longer there. Bethany, like, she wants to be that of the group. I can feel that. And she said that's why they don't get along. Then she talks again about her marriage to her step granddaddy, and she said how she didn't want to marry him for 2 years. It took her 2 years to even be able to marry him. And Lord knows for me to say what God told you, but I don't believe that you prayed to God and he said, yeah, you should marry this man. I don't believe that. I think you weighed your options as far as marrying him and getting the cash and getting the money and getting the church, or not marrying him and having to do it all by yourself. And I think you realize, okay, well, I might as well just marry this man and get the money. And now to me, it seems like y'all probably don't even have sex with each other. It seems like y'all don't even really like each other. It just seems like y'all deal with each other because y'all, I don't want to say that y'all don't like each other, but y'all don't like each other in that way. Y'all deal with each other because it is what it is. This is an arranged marriage type of situation. And this is what I'm saying about Mary is not comfortable in the situation that she's in, because every time she talks about it, she cries. There has not been one time so far that Mary will talk about her marriage and she does not cry. It's because she's unhappy. She's unhappy. Was all of that money worth that? That's all I want to know was all of the money. Because she's like, I mean, how would I be sitting here and all of this designer, this, that, and the third if I didn't do it? Is that sad that that's what you think is really important? That you wouldn't have all these designer clothes, but you'd be happy. But you'd be happy. And you never know. You never know the road that you could have went down. You said that you got married at 22, meaning you got married dumb young. Meaning if you didn't marry that man, you probably would have had the time to do what it is that you had to do to establish yourself, to establish your career. So guess what? That you probably could afford those type of things. I hope your happiness is worth. I hope I hope your happiness is worth, wearing Chanel and Louis V and all of these other designer houses that really don't give a fuck about black people. Hope that's worth it. But yeah, that was episode, y'all. It wasn't a whole lot going on. I really didn't talk about the dinner in the beginning because it was just a whole bunch of back and forth between Mary and Jen, and I really don't give a fuck no more. I don't care. They're both annoying. I don't like neither one of them. The only person I truly like on this show is Whitney and Heather. Sometimes Heather, but definitely Whitney. That's it. Oh, my favorite part of the episode is when Mary said to Whitney, "Oh, you need to be quiet because you're young." I think she was like, "You're only 30." And Whitney was like, "Yep, you're right. I am only 30. I'm the youngest one out of all of y'all, and all of y'all is old as hell up here arguing." I said, "Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am." They always hate on the young girl. They did it to Portia. Don't worry, they gonna hate on you too. But that's all I got, y'all. I'm out. Y'all tell me what y'all think back.